time has come to
push the button.
whirl.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a first look at the new Bluetooth app and how it's going to change the stigma of how HPA users are perceived in Airsoft. So go ahead and take it away, man. Show me what you got.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems we see is HPA is always being dogged on. You know, everyone thinks it's really easy to cheat. You know, we are building a player app that will allow event management as well as users to lock the FCU for a specific time with a password. That's fine and great, but that's not really much of a deterrent for people to cheat. And we figure the biggest deterrent is if you can be caught easily. Yeah, you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
You know, paintball and all of those places, you know, that's a different story. But Airsoft, you know, it lasts for 24, 48 hours sometimes. And we want event organizers to have the peace of mind, as well as the other players on the field, whether they're HPA or not, to say, okay, we know pretty much that nobody is cheating.
Yep. So take it away, man. Let's take a look at it.
So this is a little preview of what game organizers and event organizers, field owners are going to have access to a little bit later on after the player app is open. What it is the player management console. It's doing a license authentication, which will actually happen. It looks like Bluetooth isn't enabled, so I'll enable that here in a second. But this will allow you to, within a pretty decent range, see whether somebody's UFCU is locked, unlocked, what the settings are, and be able to actually go up and find where that person is, essentially, and either address that individual at that time or later on if you choose to.
Okay.
It'll log all that stuff. We'll go over it a little bit more in depth in the coming weeks, but I'm going to enable Bluetooth here. And then what it'll do is we're simulating a pretty typical scan. So let's say there's a couple of FCUs in range. I don't actually have to be connected to them because Bluetooth LE has what's called advertising or beacons. And that means I don't have to connect to an FCU. So this is a good example. You've got 3 players using the universal Bluetooth fire controller, and 2 of them are locked. One's on semi, one's on saw. Maybe they're playing an AMS game or something. And there's another guy here that's unlocked. He's running full auto enabled with 63 RPS. So this allows you to easily identify problem players, and more than anything, it's just a deterrent.
There you go. So now you can, as an event organizer, you can also use the same software suite to monitor all of your HPA users and make sure that they're all on the same page. So as a field owner, let's say someone's already invested in an SMP. They don't have to replace the actual physical unit. They can buy your universal fire control unit, and then the field owner can then watch everybody and make sure there's no one cheating. Because you're keeping you're forcing the players to be honest, because now they don't have a choice.
Right. And problem players, can be identified, and the management can decide how they want to deal with that. But this just keeps everybody honest, and there is nothing out there like this. This is patent pending technology that this universal fire controller, we hope that it replaces every other fire controller, because we just want to see honesty more than anything. And HPA is awesome. It works great.
Performance is great.
Yeah. And there isn't anything out there that gives the event organizer and the non-HPA players the peace of mind to play with HPA players. So instead of segmenting them or kicking them off your field, this is the solution.
Yep.
So you get this. You get the management app as the event organizer, which will be available on Android really soon after it's released, and then iOS later next year, beginning of next year. And it's just a really simple system. And this is actually, what's really cool about this, especially for a big NAT op, if somebody wants to run this at a big NAT op as an event organizer, it uses about 0.5% of your battery every 6 hours in passive mode on the device you're using. So you could have a couple of people walking around with these things in their pack, and it'll store all the signals, and then at the end of the day you can actually check, and then if you need to identify that player or find out what's going on with that person, you can.
Exactly. So now event organizers can track down problem players, and they can use this to monitor everybody and keep everybody on the same page and keep everybody honest. And with your Bluetooth program for the player end, you can also see what people have their guns set to. So now you can see if someone's running it as a saw or a rifleman with all their presets. If you have multiple different guns and stuff like that, you can see how all their presets are running as well.
Yeah, we may offer that for the player side or for smaller like pickup games and stuff if people really want to have that. But this is mainly going to be for the event organizers, and we just want to keep things safe, fun, friendly, HPA friendly. HPA is just such an awesome thing. We want everybody to be able to be on an even playing field. So if an event organizer wants to restrict the fire controller to have, if you're on semi-auto, instead of being able to yank the trigger 15 times in a second, 3 times like an AEG, you can set that, and then they can enforce it, and then they can check it and make sure that everyone's playing fair. Instead of having to segregate everyone, there's just no sense in that.
Exactly.
So,
all right, that's pretty awesome, guys. So be prepared. It's all coming.
Yep, look for it soon.
Look for it very, very soon.
Thanks, guys.